Hello everyone, I'm Chester44, also known as Fly, and welcome to this Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity. Last episode, we basically dealt with what was going on with the leaden key in the sanitarium, which didn't go the best. There were a lot of deaths, but that was dealt with. And we also got a summons from Lady Webb of Hadred House, who's basically in charge of the spies. She told us a bit, including about Theos Ix Arcanon, something like that, who is behind all of this. He's the one who's behind the leaden key and in charge of it, and we're to report to her on the information we find. The next thing we have is Undying Heritage. We need to go to, I keep forgetting the name, Heritage Hill, and see if we can get into the tower and see what the hell is going on there. So let's make our way over right now. Oh.
He may have returned a drunk or an invalid.
Maybe, but the search for Persoc is just as important as what I find.
Is that right? And what if you return empty-handed, eh?
I never return empty-handed.
Alright, to Heritage Hill. Okay. So we have found the tower. Let's make our way over to it. Taxes collected. Oh, goody. Still nothing going on here. Edo's still going on that for another 3 days. And here we have the tower. Let's head inside, see what we find. The massive stone door of the tower is sealed, and there doesn't appear to be any way of opening it. Speak the words you learned from the leaden key acolyte. You hear rumbles and clanks from hidden tumblers as the door unlocks. Alright. Let's see what we find in here, and we find ghouls. Oh, wait! I remember. Before we actually clear this out, we should probably speak with that woman. That's right. She may have some information for us. You really didn't need to do that. But yes. We were told by the leaden key, don't let her find out, or something like that. So I think we should go speak with her about this first. Let's see. Ikantha. Let's run over, see what we find. Alright, Ikantha, you creepy, creepy woman. We need to speak.
You return.
I saw you in a
What have you
vision.
come seeking
There's
this
something you
time?
need to do for me.
Believe me, I've heard that line before. It's rude to stare, you know. Don't worry. I've no mind to start anything with you. After all, I've stayed in such good shape by choosing my meals carefully. Believe me.
Okay, I guess we can't do anything with her. Fine, let's head into the tower then. Okay, let's keep looking around now.
I shall be discreet.
Let's see. Crumpled pages from Aldhelm's journal. Day 7. A week of study, and we're still none the wiser about this device. Trindig remains optimistic. I don't know what I'd do without his spirit. Dearest mother and father, you'll be pleased to hear that I've learned much already since coming to the city. There are many incredible ruins nearby, and Master Greg has allowed me to accompany him on a number of expeditions. I am writing to you from inside an ancient Engwithan tower. There's an entire district built up around it, but the locals have mostly left the tower untouched. They have let us set up temporary living quarters here, so our work can continue uninterrupted. It is an unsettling place at times, but Master Greg has been a constant comfort, and he is quick to remind me that the things we learn from this tower may one day help us find a cure for Widewind's legacy. I'd better get some rest now. Mr. Greg likes to get an early start to the day. All my love, Trindig. The mattress is lumpy and smells of old straw, but whoever slept here last made it neatly. Essence shimmers and pulsates within the strange device. More undead over there. It looks like we need to deal with them. One of them's a skeletal mage, which definitely has to die. There goes the rogue, and now the wizard. There we go.
Following your lead.
Didn't mean to click that.
Hello? Hello?
Patting the scratchy old coverlet thickens the air with dust. No one has used this bed in weeks.
Something over there.
Something hidden. A whole load of coins. It looks like we found the stairs going further up. Revenants.
Let's go! Oh.
Go ahead. Finish them off. Okay. Revenants, not a big deal. And another note. Day 2. We've completed our measurements of the machine, thanks to Trindig's youthful agility. Further examination is required to discover its intended use. So there's some sort of machine in this tower, is there? What else will we find in here, then?
I'll see what I can
Let's
find.
see. Probably more undead. Indeed, I was right. There's another revenant. And a bunch of ghouls, too. Please kill the ghouls. There we go. Hold on a moment. The device is glowing. That's actually concerning. The scroll contains a pen and ink diagram of the Audra device running through the tower. Despite copious measurements and carefully drawn detail, it gives no indication of the machine's purpose. The Works of the Engwithans, a comprehensive guide.
I shall be quiet as a
Oh, more undead.
calm
Yep.
sea, which is not.
Admeth Hodred Part 1, Rise to Power. Oh, wait, that actually doesn't matter. Anything here? Some coins and the like. More undead here to deal with. Just a single revenant. And another note. Day 11. Finally got out of the tower to clear our heads. Beasts take the patrons. We'll finish the study on our own terms, our own time. Just as I said it as much to Trindig, the sky came to life with stray lightning. I said it's a good omen, but the poor lad's spooked. Only cure for that is a good night's sleep.
I shall be quiet as a calm
I am now a little worried about what they were doing here.
Be quiet as a calm sea, which is not very quiet.
And we've got more undead. And it's dead. The pulling, pounding energy in the machine feels even stronger up here. And another note. Day 10. Patrons grow impatient with the lack of quantifiable results. They should drag themselves out of their mansions and spend a few nights here if they think it's so easy.
I shall be quiet as a calm sea.
Let's see.
Which is
Letter from Acantha.
not very quiet.
Aldhelm, I did indeed receive your recent summons, as well as the two that came before it. I'd been waiting for you to present yourself on my doorstep so that I could give you my answer in person. A firm and unwavering no. I won't help you. In fact, I relish the idea of you and your team of glorified engineers sitting in that tower, sweating over the runes I've studied for years. Nothing gives me greater pleasure than knowing that my research, which you've long disparaged, is the missing piece in your mundane little puzzle. As you well know, it's knowledge I've always valued. I'm just around the corner. I encourage you to find me should you wish to rehash this conversation in person. Yours truly, Acantha. And we've got Sigil of the Arcane. +1 intellect and arcane dampener. Beneficial effect suspended for 15 seconds. Okay, that appears to be all on this floor. Looks like we got another floor to go up to. And we've found the top of this place. And there's Aldhelm. Okay, I'm going to save before we try investigating this. Okay, here we are.
Let's try this configuration. Still nothing. Confounded device.
Standing near the device feels like being blown about by a storm gale. The stone steps hum with energy. Well, we found Helm. A man hunches over the strange mechanism, his spine a sharp ridge rising from his arched back. He's barely clothed in filthy rags, and the patches of skin you see are mottled green. A spoiled stench emanates from him. He's so intent on his work that he doesn't notice you until your shadow falls over him. When he turns and sees you, he snarls and scuttles behind the Audra pedestal. Only his bared teeth seem to have escaped decay. His eyes are yellowed and bloodshot, but they flicker with intelligence. He averts his gaze and holds a hand in front of his face.
Shouldn't be here. What do you want?
Who and what are you?
15 years at Brackenbury. 7 tours to the ruins beyond Solace Vale. I'm an animancer. Still an animancer.
His gaze lights on the Audra post with sudden recognition. He starts to turn back to the copper dials. Tell me what happened here.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
He smashes a fist into the Audra pillar. His hand makes a crunching noise, but doesn't bleed.
Forgive me. Forgive me. Research. We came to do research on the tower. Some commission from gods. It hardly matters now.
Alof's lips twist in disgust. If I had a copper skate for every fool animancer whose thirst for knowledge led to a disaster, well, I never would have ended up in Gilded Vale, that's for sure. Keep talking, Aldhelm.
Something happened on our 11th night. Lights in the sky and a static charge in the air. But we were so careful. We were staying in the chambers below. Trindig, my assistant, said he saw a robed figure lurking around the tower. Wore a mask. Carried knives at his sides. A trick of shadows, I told him. The next morning, we felt strange. Like we hadn't eaten in weeks. So dazed that we didn't at first notice the blood around our beds. The strange wounds that had appeared overnight.
A member of the Leaden Key, almost certainly.
And the machine. This cursed spire. Dormant for 2,000 years. Lifeless through hundreds of our experiments. And we wake that morning to find it spinning on its own. On its own! How can we stop what we couldn't start?
With a really big hammer. As exciting as the prospect of a living machine may be, I suspect that given mention of a machine and a masked figure both, there is another explanation.
Years I've been doing this. Years. I know how these things work, but I don't know how this happened. Nowhere to go. That's the problem. Their souls are trapped here like flies in a jar, clinging to rotting meat.
Slow down. What does the machine have to do with souls?
No time to slow down. But I can explain. Hold a magnet over iron splinters and they stick, yes? Rub your hand over weir wool and the hair of your head will follow it. So it is with this machine.
He looks at you and runs his tongue along the edges of his fine, strong teeth. He quickly looks away.
It has the power to manipulate souls, but why? For what? And how many others lie buried in the ruins of Erglonfath? No. Focus on this one. It's imprisoned our souls in our bodies. Cut the root between essence and flesh. Left a dwindling soul stuck in a shriveling husk.
There was a stranger in the tower the night this happened.
I didn't see him. My assistant, he saw him. We laughed. Said he was spooked by the cemetery. Perhaps it was already too late. I don't know what he did. But by morning the machine was on and we were slain. People were already on the streets, complaining of neighbors and family members acting strangely.
You're not like the ghouls in the street.
Not yet. But I will be. My body is dead. My soul, imprisoned in this corpse, only makes it seem otherwise. And as the body decays, so does the mind. Until nothing is left but the hunger. The only way to forestall the process is through a regular infusion of essence. Living flesh is the only ready supply. I'm not proud of any of it. Hunting men and women in the early days of the affliction. Picking off soldiers that came to investigate. But I'd do it again. I'll do it as long as I must to end this disaster.
Very, very harsh.
You could help. Help me end this. Help me find sustenance.
What happened to the rest of your team?
By the time I realized what had happened, the district had already been sealed. So we fed when we needed, and locked ourselves in the tower to work. And then there came a time when the hunger struck. And there was hardly anyone left.
How can I help?
Not your help I need. It's Harridan, shrew. Squanders her research on frivolities, then refuses to make herself useful. Runes. The runes are the last part of the puzzle. Acantha knows them. She gives them to you, and you can turn the machine off. Release our souls.
Wait, runes? The Angwithan runes? She can read them. He speaks of this feat so blandly. Let's talk instead to this Harridan, Laniara. I'd pick her thoughts a time. She wasn't there the night the machine came on, staying with her patrons somewhere near. Too good to be burdened with our ignorant companies. I'll get the words from Acantha.
Yes. Acantha. She was here. In the district. Probably here still. Always prepared. Clever lady, that one. And perhaps you bring me something. Something to keep me sharp.
Oh boy.
Then I show you a secret about the machine. Something to make you strong.
This is an animancer in his natural state, Watcher. Never has he respected the sanctity of the god's creation. Only now he no longer has the cunning to hide it. He should be put down like a sick animal, although not without first putting his spirit to the flames test.
Alright then. Let us head to find Acantha. Fortunately, we know where she is. Oh, good! Proceed to the bottom, please. Alright, Acantha, you have something I need.
You return.
I need the words
What if
that
you come
operate the
seeking this
Angwithan
time?
machine in the tower.
That fool Aldhelm. He sent you, didn't he? I can hardly believe he's had the cleverness to survive. That simpleton thinks he can understand how to use something without understanding what it is, or why it is.
You feel a hot core of pride smoldering at the center of her soul.
He dabbles with ancient and powerful devices, with all the finesse of a blacksmith. He sends you here to petition me for aid after years of disparaging my research. I'll bet he didn't even tell you the tower's name, did he? That's his problem. Always looking for solutions without caring for meaning.
Tell me the tower's name, then.
Ter Nuneth. It's called Ter Nuneth. They built the machine atop it to contain souls. Hold them in place. But the others I've seen, machines scattered all over the Deerwood, are relays, built to move souls.
To move souls? So if this one holds them here, and the other machines, like the one that activated, they move souls. What is the leaden key trying to do with souls? Where would they move souls?
Another mystery. Hypothetically, anywhere they wished. The real question, as always, is why? To intermix them the way a player shuffles his deck, the way a farmer rotates his fields? To collect them, like butterflies under glass? To melt them down for raw essence? Unfortunately, I don't know.
You seem to know a lot about Ter Noneth.
I read the runes like a journal. I understand their meaning. People like Aldhelm try to read them like instructions, and in so doing, they miss their true meaning completely.
Why would the Engwithans have wanted to tether souls like this?
Perhaps they didn't. Perhaps that's why they built no other machines like this one. We now see the Engwithans as masters of soul manipulation, but they couldn't have attained their expertise without copious trial and error. Perhaps this was one such experiment.
And how do you operate the machine atop Ter Nuneth?
Back to these Tinker's concerns. And what would you do with these tethered souls if I told you?
Well, I'd release them, of course.
So you say. And just what would you release them to? They'd abandon their existence here for another somewhere else, equally aimless and meaningless.
I could help you, but I won't. The pride lodged in her soul flares up, twisting into the shape of something that writhes and squeals within her. Here I have specimens aplenty, and time enough to observe them all. It's every scientist's dream. My answer is no.
What? But what good is observing all this if you're going to hoard it by yourself? Tell her, Laniara. An entire language at your fingertips, and she hides it away.
The fate of these trapped souls is more important. They're inconsequential. Their existence means nothing. They don't even understand their predicament, which you and I see so clearly. Through them, I'll accomplish more than any of my peers.
And who will know about it?
The pride thing flickers as the flames around it abate. All I've learned, years of studying the Engwithan language, no one understands it better than me. That counts for something.
But what use is it?
Uses. Why must something so pure be fashioned into a blunt instrument? Your opportunities here are finite. One day that knowledge will die with you. The pride hisses and sputters. It's little more than an ember now. You're wrong. But there's no conviction in her voice. I'll build it forever. I'll cling to it. That will give me something.
Will that really be enough for you?
It will. It must be.
Teach me what you know. I'll make sure that it grows and your legacy lives on.
Your words finally quench her pride, and all that remains is a blackened, diamond-hard rock. You cast it away where it melts into the darkness.
So be it. My studies and efforts shall grow through yours. These are the words you need.
Her cold, dry fingertips rest on your temples, and you feel her reaching into your mind, forming images from the darkness. Runes flash through your head, but they're no longer just pictures. They have meaning, and you understand them. They're commands. Something triggers in your mind, a distant memory unearthed from a past life long since buried. You can see a vast array of runes, far more than Acantha has shown you, and you know their sound and their meaning and how they fit together. The language of Engwith once more at your command.
Something has awakened in your mind. You understand far more than I ever did. Take this knowledge, then, and do what you will with Ter Nuneth. Now that you understand its purpose, it will serve you in whatever way you wish.
A speaker of dead tongues now, and so she surpasses 100 frustrated scholars in the matter of a few moments. I don't suppose you could look at a few books for me?
What do I do with the tower now that I know these words?
Turn it off, I expect. That will be easy now that you can read the runes. The vessels would still roam, but striking them down would return their essence to the cycle. But be careful. That machine controls hundreds of souls, and that volume of essence could easily overload it. Improperly channeling the essence would destroy the machine along with the souls.
Oof.
It would be a terrible loss for posterity.
Out of the corner of his eyes, Aloth gives you a sly look. It seems your ravenous new friend has given us the key to ending this wretchedness for good. And now that we've seen what this machine is capable of, I do hope you're not squeamish about the loss of a few hundred souls. Oh! You said the other towers around the Deerwood were constructed to move souls. Why would the Engwithans have wanted to do that? Oh, we've already heard that. How do you know so much? I still don't understand why the Engwithans would want to build a machine. Explain how the control words work. Harnessing the power of Ter Noneth is about understanding what it was designed to do. You know the words and their meanings. You can speak them, and the tower shall obey. Very well, then. We shall go do so immediately. Let's go on a bit of a run to get up to the top. I'll cut it while I do. Alright, let's see what we can do here. Aldhelm looks much worse than before. His rotten flesh hangs loosely and sores have eaten away patches of skin at his joints. He looks at you with a strange glimmer in his eyes.
Flesh.
He takes a tentative, scuttling step toward you. He doubles over, coughing up strings of black bile. He seems to have forgotten about you for the moment. Oh boy. I'm not going to send a victim to him. A jagged Audra pillar rises in front of you, encased in stonework and run through with copper veins. The panel is covered with runes, which you can now understand. You recognize words for end and for hold. The dial is currently fixed on hold. You also recognize by an inscription that the manner in which you turn the dial is a means of throttling the device. We are going to end it. We're not going to destroy all of these souls. As the command words leave your lips, the dial sinks into the Audra under your hand. Something like a thunderclap sounds overhead. The glow fades from the machine as it falls dormant.
Still and silent. It's finally over.
Indeed it is. Let us leave. With nothing else to do, we will go to Hodred House and report in. I'll cut it while we run over there. Oh! The tower! It's off! Does this mean the curse on Heritage Hill is lifted? It wasn't a curse, but yes, the district is safe again. I think it'll be some time before anyone will be willing to settle in the district again, but at least we can get started on restoring it. Indeed. Now, on to Hodred House.
How do you do?
Excuse me, but I've been looking for you. You're the one who lifted the curse on Heritage Hill. My lady, who wishes to remain anonymous, has entrusted me with bringing you this pistol. It belonged to a dear friend of hers who was lost to the curse. For your part in reclaiming Heritage Hill, my lady wishes you to have it. Here, may it serve you well in battle. Well, thank you. You are quite welcome. Now I must be off. Farewell. St. Garam's Spark. Good amount of damage, extra accuracy to an ally attacking the same target, shock damage, and DR bypass, a little less crit damage. Interesting. But anyway, on into Hodred House, we must speak with Lady Webb and inform her of what we learned. Alright then, Lady Webb, I have news for you.
How fares your search?
There's something I can tell you about the
Well,
operations.
let's hear it.
The Engwithan Tower in Heritage Hill contains an ancient machine that can control the flow of souls. The leaden key activated it.
This is troubling. That civilization seems to have known more about the mechanics of souls than anyone since. The leaden key was born in that period. It may be that Theos has full knowledge of their technology. The applications of this machine you speak of, I don't want to think about it. That isn't enough to take to the Duke, but we're close. Avar Wolfgren is a cautious man. He will want to know everything possible before being moved to action.
That is all. Thank you. Alright. With that all taken care of, I think we're going to end this episode here. And we don't even need to rest. That was actually a very easy fight. That said, the next task we have is going to be going to Deerford. I think it's Deerford. Is it Deerford? Deerford Village. And for that, we'll be leaving this area. But I need to I need to decide whether we're going to make our way towards Deerford Village and clear out the other areas we have on the way, which we're definitely going to go do before we go to Deerford Village, or if we're going to actually take care of the remaining quests that we can do here. Specifically, the one that makes us have to choose between the Dozens and the Crucible Knights. I'm going to try and take a look at something, but next episode we'll either be heading out of the city, or we're going to try and continue on with the quests for the groups. One of them. I'll make that decision in the next period of time, because the stream's ending now. And the episode shall end here. So, till then, I am Chester44, also known as Falai. That is Laniara, Palagina, Durance, Aloth, Kana, and Sagani. This has been a Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity, and I shall see you all next time.